Hey coaches, Coach Lee here again, talking about U5 week 2. So here's the big idea. Last week the big idea was my ball is my buddy, right? And we're going to keep reinforcing that all season long. But this week we're going to build on that a little bit, and here's the idea. My buddy loves to go fast and far. Okay, now you don't have to get too tied up with these little storylines that I give you, but the teaching point, the thing we're trying to introduce is how to kick the ball. Right now, most of the kids are just going to poke the ball with their toe. But just on a very elementary level, this week we're going to try and show them how to kick the ball with the right part of their foot. And so, it's one thing to dribble with our buddy, right? But if our buddy really wants to go fast and far, it's when we kick it. And you can demonstrate that with your kids by, having them dribble to a certain spot and you kick the ball to a certain spot. And the ball that you kick is going to get there a lot faster than them running with their ball. And you just show them that, hey, this is how we make our buddy go fast and go far, is by kicking it. And everybody knows that in soccer, you kick the ball. That's what it's about. So here are the 3 games. Let me just run through these real quickly so we don't take up too much of your time. This represents our field, your field area. So in that playing area, I want you to make a square like this. The first game is called Monster Marbles. I want you to get your players located around that square with their ball. Pick about 2 or 3 players and have them get in the middle and put their ball on top of 3 of those discs. So you take those little discs, there's a little hole in the top, and the ball will sit right on there. Have them balance their ball right on the top of that. When you say go, it's a game of monster marbles, and we call it that because they're big marbles, right? They're big monsters, they're playing marbles. They are trying to kick the ball and knock these balls off of those discs. Does that make sense? But the thing we're trying to teach is we want to be accurate. And so we're passing the ball with the inside of our foot in order to make an accurate pass. I'm not too worried about power at this point. What we're worried about is that they can kick the ball in a straight line, and the way they do that is not poking off the end of their toe. Poke it off the end of your toe, you don't know which way it's going to go. But the way you can kick a straight line is to turn the toe out and to strike through the ball with the flat inside of their foot. Don't have to get technical, it's not going to make any sense to them anyway. But you can show them how to turn their toe out and strike it with their instep, right? That's for us to know. They don't know what instep is, but for us to know, we're just going to try and teach that. Turn your toe to the outside and thump the ball through the middle of the ball and get it to go in a straight line. And you could have fun with it. They get a point for everyone they knock over. Maybe if one kid is really good at it, challenge that kid to knock over all 3. I would place these discs at different places, some close to the edge and some more in the middle, so that there's a different challenge level. For some of the kids, they'll be trying to hit that one in the middle, which will be a lot harder than hitting one that's real close, right? But some kids won't be able to hit the one in the middle, and some will need it to be a little closer. So we create a challenge that is for everybody. Everybody gets challenged in that situation. Now, if you want to throw a variation into it, you could have the 3 players who put their ball in here, and let me back up there, I forgot that. Have those 3 players replace their ball back on the disc when it gets knocked off. And then you can rotate those players out. But, challenge them with, as soon as your ball gets knocked off, you got to go and put it back within 2 seconds or within 5 seconds, right? And that will be kind of the way to keep them engaged. Rotate those people out. But if you want to make it harder if they're getting it, then have those players kind of try to move around and protect. So they're trying to keep their ball from getting knocked off, and the other kids are trying to knock the ball off from different angles, right? And they can move wherever they want to around the square. Get parents involved by coming around and chasing balls, and you help, because obviously they're not supposed to go into this square, but they're going to be passing their ball in there, and they're going to want to go get it, right? So you have people there to help them get their ball and get back outside the square. It'll be a little chaotic, but I think they'll pick it up. So that's the first game. It's really a passing game. We're turning our toe to the outside. I'm sorry I can't show you. Here I am back in my office again. I apologize for that. I'd rather be outside demonstrating it. But turning our toe to the outside, striking with the inside of our foot in a straight line. Okay? Don't worry about power right now. We're worried about straight line accuracy. My ball likes to go exactly where I tell it to go, exactly where I send it. That's kind of the idea. Okay, game number 2, it easily transitions. You guys are not going to have much setup at all today. Just pick up those discs, okay, and have your players keep that same square, and have your players get their ball and come inside the square. The name of this game is Pirates of the High Seas. So build that up. Have the kids come in. What do pirates do? You know, and they tell you they steal from other ships, or they sink other ships, or that's what a pirate does, right? Maybe they've seen movies or Veggie Tales or whatever that have pirates in them. Okay, tell them they're going to be pirates, and you're going to be the ship. You, the coach, are going to be the ship that they're trying to sink, and their cannonball is their buddy. Okay, in this activity, we're trying to get them to strike the ball with more power, which means it's more of a shot technique. Some of you don't know what that means. It just means we point our toe down, and we're trying to strike the ball with the laces of our soccer cleat or of our shoe, right? With the laces. Toe pointed down, driving through the ball. We're trying to hit it hard, because if you're going to shoot a cannonball at a ship to sink it, it's got to be fast and it's got to be hard, right? So you, as the coach, are going to move around inside here, and they are going to be trying to sink you with their cannonball, okay? And we're kicking it hard. I mean, really, just tell them, just kick it hard. Try and sink the ship, okay? And you could build up the game. Maybe if you get hit 4 times or 5 times, then you sink, and you could pretend to sink in the water. If you wanted to up the challenge, you could bring in another ship that way. Bring in a parent or two. Have a lot of ships, and we're trying to sink all of them, right? Just to up the challenge level, just to keep it fresh and keep it fun for them. So they're chasing you around and trying to strike the ball and hit you anywhere. They're going to hit you in the lower body, because none of them can really get the ball off the ground. So play that up. And if it's too easy for them, move more quickly. Like I said, throw in more people. This is just an effort to get them to kick the ball hard. What you're going to need on this activity, though, is parents to line around that box. Because if they're kicking it hard, a lot of balls are going to go way out here. You're a ship, so you can't go chase balls and bring them back. So get parents to stand around the circle and give kids back their ball once they kick it, okay? Here's the last activity, and again, a very simple transition. What I want you to do is I want you to leave the kids in here with their ball. They may have already gone and gotten a drink or whatever. You can look at the schedule. But I want you to bring these pug goals, okay? Bring these pug goals to where they are just outside your box, maybe about 8 feet outside the box, okay? The name of this game is flip-flop fishing, okay? Ask them about how people catch fish, and most of them are going to say with a pole, because that's what we're used to. But challenge them, say, is there another way people catch fish? Get them to talk about throwing out a net, okay? This is a net. Most people take the net to where the fish are and throw the net out to catch them. But in this game, we're going to do the reverse. The net's going to stay in the same place, and our buddy is going to be the fish, and we've got to put our fish in the net, okay? So we're doing it the other way. We're putting the fish in the net instead of putting the net on the fish, okay? So they're going to run around in here, just have them dribble. It can be kind of like a musical chairs type of a thing. Once you stop singing or once you say go, they need to kick their ball. And I don't care if it's a pass technique off the instep or if it's off the laces, but they need to kick their ball from inside the square into that goal. And here's the challenge, and I don't know if this was clear on the lesson plan. We don't want them to just dribble it straight in like they did last week in the Get Home Quick game. We want them to actually take a shot from inside the box. If they miss, help them get their ball, or they get their ball, but they've got to come back into the square to take a shot. They can't just dribble it straight in, because we're trying to teach kicking techniques today and not just dribbling techniques. They're going to be dribbling in here. They're going to be keeping their buddy close like we talked about last week, but we're trying to get them to send their ball fast and far, right? That's the idea this week. So have them come in here, and maybe you could split the 2 teams up, and they're each going to either space, kind of like we did in that game last week. If you don't have that many kids, maybe the goal is just all of them. Once they all get their fish or their ball in the net, then that's a win, and you have to sing a song or do something silly, give them an incentive. But that's the way that we're going to play that game. So we're trying to get them. It doesn't matter on this one. On the first one, it's a passing technique. On the second activity, we want to do a shooting technique. But on this last one, it doesn't matter. They're just getting their ball into the net, whether it's a shot or a pass technique. And because I'm talking about techniques and it's U5, don't take that too seriously. We're not talking to the kids about technique. We're just trying to get them to maybe start thinking about how to kick the ball in a motion other than just the toe poke, right? Because the toe poke is not a good way to strike the ball. That's it. That's the 3 activities. Simple square and some discs is all you're going to need. They're going to transition easily. There's no slaloms or anything like that. We may get into some of that stuff later, but right now we're building on this is my buddy and how to move with the ball, that was last week, to this is my buddy and he likes to go fast and far and where I want him to go, and the way I do that is to kick him, right? That's what soccer is, kicking the ball.